Wonderful. So come on in, enter the Infinity Healing Chamber, take a seat, get comfy. Let everything else go. Take a nice deep breath. Come fully present into this moment. It's going to be an amazing experience and you're going to want to be completely present. You don't want to be thinking about what's coming next or what you have to do later or what you did earlier or what will happen next month or next year. It's time to just be here now. So welcome everyone. Akasha here. I'm so happy to welcome you here today to this Bliss Life Global Healing Series. And on this series about soul purpose awakening, we're exploring the deeper meaning of what's happening right now. We're exploring and peeking under, looking behind the veil, saying, okay, there's drama, there's chaos, there's fires, there's earthquakes, there's pandemics, there's lockdowns, there's all kinds of craziness going on. And not to belittle the fact that we are all living in it, and yet we are infinite beings. And this is one of my favorite topics, is really expanding outside of the bills and the I shoulds and who likes me and all of the conditioning and the patterns and all the things that we've rushed around to make our lives, to take a few moments and allow ourselves to rise into a place and remember that we are much, much more than a mother or a daughter or a nurse or an accountant. We are these incredible infinite beings. So welcome everyone. We're going to explore today, and this is live, and I love this live, and I am so excited to welcome this guest here today. Pam Olsie is going to be here talking to you about that you are an infinite being. We're going to dive into expanded consciousness and all of the really interesting things that are happening now because we are waking up. So let's take a look a little bit. Pamela is an author, consultant, radio show host. She's a professional psychic intuitive, and she's an aura expert. She's been doing that for 37 years. She's appeared on ABC, CBS, NBC, CNN, Fox, The Dr. Oz Show, The View, Ricky Lake, Coast to Coast, Hallmark's Home and Family, and many more. She's written 4 successful and popular books: Life Colors, Love Colors, Infinite You, and Make Your Dreams Come True. And she has a very extensive clientele, including many celebrities. She's even spoken at the TEDx Talks, and I highly recommend that you take a peek at that. The International Forum on New Science, Fortune 500 companies, and many seminars for professionals in psychology, education, and health fields. She was awarded the Holistic Transformational Leader of the Year Award by the Global Association of Holistic Psychotherapy and Coaching. And she's the founder of auracolors.com, so be sure you check that out. Designed to help you create success, joy, and fulfillment in every area of your life. She's also developed lovecolors.com, which helps you find love and friendships by matching you with people who have compatible auras. So today we're diving mostly into the topic of the infinite you. And Pamela has been really, really generous to offer us this amazing gift, Abundance. It's a guided imagery meditation. And you can get this if you go to nanakasha.com/blisslifeglobalhealing and get on the list. If you're already on the list, to get all the notifications. You know, we have a special page where we put the video, all of Pamela's information, her links, her free gift, and you can watch it or listen on the podcast as well. So I'm really excited to have you here today. Thank you so much, Pam. Whoops, hang on, I gotta unmute you here, I guess. Yeah, you're not asked to mute. Okay, you're muted, if you can unmute. There we go.
You got it?
Yeah, perfect.
Yay. Thank you, Akasha, for having me on your event. That's so generous of you. And I really love that you're discussing topics like this, especially at this time.
Yes, wow. And it's so juicy and there's so much to look at, and people are too distracted with everything that they're in survival mode about. And it's really important that we begin to explore the idea of that we are an infinite being, because the breakdown is bringing us into a whole new world where we can be something we've never thought before. So can you share a little bit about your life and how you came to do this work? I know we were chatting before and you said for 37 years you've been doing the aura colored work.
Right. Well, my background is in working with challenged kids and the counseling world. And then I got into the rock and roll business and the theater business, the entertainment business. I was doing that for a while. And I've always been really wanting to know expansive things beyond the boundaries. I don't like being told what to do. So it's always been about spirituality and consciousness and expanding. So one evening when I was running a theater. It was, a play theater, concerts and everything, not a movie theater. And I went to hear a psychic speak from England. And I walked in and he said, "You up here, you know how to do this."
Sorry, Pam, I unmuted you. I muted you. Can you unmute again?
Okay.
Thank you. Sorry.
Not a problem. I don't need to talk today. We can just listen.
I was muting somebody who came on and it just muted everybody. So,
That's
okay,
fine.
sorry, go ahead.
Let me know that you muted me and I'll just go right back to talking again. So anyway, I found out that night that I was seeing specific things about people. So it basically threw me in the water and I was getting details. And a year after starting to do psychic or intuitive, or I like to call it expanded consciousness, because the word psychic has such old connotations to it now and such limited. So I believe that all of us have this ability. And then a year or so after I started doing psychic work, I met a woman who could see auras, and I watched what she was doing and what she was describing about what was around people. And I went, oh, that matches what I was picking up psychically about people. So I went, oh, that's a violet, that's a green, oh, that's a tan. Okay, I get it. And then I developed the ability to be able to see and sense auras too. And from there, everything expanded, everything.
So when you began to see these things, because this is an interesting thing, I've been working for about 35 years, so almost as long as you, but with myself and other people. And in that phase where you start to realize that you sense or know things or you see things and that you start to trust yourself. Right?
Yeah. That was the part.
Yeah.
That was the key part, because it's scary to go outside the box. It's scary to go outside the boundaries, especially if no one's telling you what to do or how to do it, or especially if other people aren't doing it. It's like, wait, is this real? But mostly I didn't want to let anyone down. Mostly I had the fear that I was going to get it wrong or not hear anything or disappoint them. And so now what I tell people is, I'm going to show up. I'm going to do the best I can to tell you what I see, but ultimately you got to trust your own intuition. I'll tell you what I'm hearing, what I'm seeing. If it doesn't resonate, always trust yourself first. And also keep an open mind, just in case I see some things you're not in touch with yet, because I'm amazed at how many people have come back to me a year later, 5 years later, even 20 years later, and go, when I had the reading, I just didn't get it. It didn't make sense. And I went back and listened to the recording and it's like, oh my gosh, everything that you saw coming, it's happened. And I had no idea. So it's kind of funny to go, wow. So you walked out the door thinking I was crazy. And now 10 years later, you go, oh, now I get it. So yeah, it's a little scary when you want to please people, but you also want to be helpful. And you haven't, each time it's like, I hope I can do a good job.
Yeah, no, I understand. I've been a healer and doing different forms of work with people for so long. And in fact, that was the hardest part, I think, in the beginning. And then I took a break to raise my twins for a while. And when I came back to it, I was a little bit more self-confident. I was a little bit more in the flow. And now like you, I'm just like, you know what? I don't even know why. I can't explain it, but I just trust. And it's always a stunning experience. So, well, let's talk about this idea that you're an infinite being and how when we're here on this planet playing in 3D, watching the drama unfold, paying the bills, it's very difficult to pull out of that and really believe that, to understand that, or to see someone like you who has these abilities and then say, oh yeah, but I can't do that. So how is it that we can begin to trust and tune into that infinite part of ourselves?
Well, you know what? I want people to know not only am I really spiritual and it's about consciousness, but I'm very grounded. So when I had studied quantum physics even before I started doing that, which helped explain why I was capable of doing it. So it's not just California, airy fairy, woo woo, any of that stuff. It's like, wow, there's actually physics behind this. And basically it says we're all energy. I mean, not Newtonian physics. Newtonian physics just says we're these little biological machines running around, right? But quantum physics, which is actually 100 years old now, and people are just now starting to really get that maybe this is real, these expansive abilities. Quantum physics is saying we're all energy and that what's at the core of everything is consciousness. So if you want to put it into spiritual terms, and people want to talk about the soul's very expansive. It lives, it never left the field. It never left this level of higher consciousness, of awareness of where it is. I hate to use the terms in time and space, but it's easier to identify it that way. It lives in infinity. It lives in eternity. It lives in the field. It lives way beyond our bodies. All right. So it's way out there. So what I'm doing is getting the big picture first and then showing how we really do have those infinite abilities. And then what this grand soul or the oversoul or the real soul does is it wants to have experiences. It likes to play. We're actually very playful, entertaining, curious, adventurous beings. So we wanted to have different experiences. So if you can think of it as kind of like either the sun with lots of different rays coming out of it, or an octopus with lots of different arms coming out of it, our soul basically shot out into different realms, different energies, different experiences, a lot of them on this planet, a lot of them in different time zones, different eras, different bodies, different experiences, different aura colors. And so we have been trained to think, even if people believe that it's a timeline, which is sequential, in that energy, there is no such thing as time. So all those other lives that we're experiencing are happening simultaneously. So you see what I'm doing? I'm getting us to think bigger first, then thinking that we have these advanced abilities isn't so scary. So basically you've got a life where you're in the 13th century. You have a life where you're in the 6th century. You have a life that you're in 2150, right? So it's all happening simultaneously. But what we do is we focus on one lifetime at a time. And I use the analogy, imagine you go into some department store or Best Buy or something, and there's like 50 TVs going on at the same time. And if you looked at all of them, you couldn't tell what was going on. So we go and focus on one TV at a time so we can get the full movie and the full experience. So we think there's only one reality. So we're focusing here and we're focusing and believing. We kind of set up these, what does Seth call them? Root assumptions. Okay, we're going to pretend there's gravity, and we're going to pretend we got a body, and we're going to pretend that there's time, and we're going to pretend that we're a female or a male or whatever. So we set up root assumptions so we can really get involved in the movie and really be the actor in the movie or the actress, like really get the juice out of it, right? And so what we've done is over time, we've made it very limited usually. Like we've been trained to think that we're just these little biological machines. Well, what you and I are probably experiencing right now is something's waking up. We're going, I don't want to be this little biological machine and that's it. Because unfortunately, what we've turned this movie into is kind of a nightmare.
Yeah.
You know, people are struggling and they're in pain and they're starving and they're worried about love and they're worried, not having it. We're worried about money. We're worried about our career direction, right? So we've kind of turned it into a struggle or a nightmare or fear-based. And so I feel like what our souls are doing is going, yeah, that's not what we came here to do. We came here to have fun, to experience the garden, to experience the five senses, taste and smell and color and sight and touch. We wanted to have those experiences and we wanted to have feelings. But then what happens is we get very addicted to the feelings and we get very addicted to just that drama, and then we close up and then we forget who we are. So as we're starting to, Akasha, wake up and go, wait a second. So maybe I'm not just this little slave, this little robot. Maybe there's something more. I feel like our souls are waking up. Okay. And then of course there's fear out there, resistance, like, no, 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 you're going to lose your mind. Don't do that. No, you're crazy. You got to stay in this little box. What are you talking? And so I feel like the conflict is this new life that's starting to emerge, this new awareness that's starting to emerge. And then the ego fear that's like, no, 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 because the ego was created to help us perceive physical reality, but it can go into fear because we've taught it that things aren't safe out there. So the ego thinks its job is to keep us safe, right? No, stay in the box, stay in the box. Bad things will happen. Stay in your yard because there's cars out there. You could get hit by a car. No, stay inside. So I feel like what the reflection is not light against darkness. It's our souls wanting to do this new life, this new expansive experience where we have more freedom, where we wake up and realize we're actually creators. We're creating this movie. We're creating the experience. We're creating the dream. When we're having a dream, when we wake up, we realize that we just created that dream in our consciousness, right? Well, you don't know you're sleeping or having a dream until you wake up, right? So we've been doing this little dream here thinking it's real, but now we're starting to wake up, which you understand, it expands our, like, oh, I can move things with my mind. I can bend spoons. I can see outside of time. I can see the energy. I can be psychic and intuitive. So we're tapping into our real selves now. So you understand, right? We're the old ego, the old sense, and that's the reflection we're seeing out there is the old going, no, 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 no. We got to keep things the way it is. No, come back here, old stuff, stay trapped. And it's in fear. But the new us, if we start trusting it, start allowing ourselves to pay attention, because I can guarantee you pretty much anyone that's listening right now has had that experience of they felt something and then it happened, or they thought of somebody and the phone rings, or they run into them. So we've all had those experiences, even feeling the energy fields, auras. We've all had the experience where you meet somebody for the first time and you go, oh, I don't like this person's energy. Or other people go, oh, God, I feel really good with you. I feel like I could hug you or be close to you. We're feeling their energy. So we've all had that experience, and those experiences. Now we're just learning how to pay attention to them more and expand it. And bottom line, not be afraid to expand.
Yeah.
Did I answer any of your question, or do you see I wanted to bring it bigger first?
Yes, yes. No, I love it.
The smaller stuff won't be so scary. And we could talk about how to develop it. I mean, I've written books, I've got courses, all that to help develop it. But I want people to know what's really going on the grand scale. Yes. So that honestly, so that we can emerge into that greatness. Not the old consciousness of, I've got to figure out how to make something work.
Yeah.
That mechanistic thing. Once we realize who we are, it's like, oh, of course I can walk. Oh, of course I can do this. But if we think, like, just think when we were children, when we were babies, I got to learn how to crawl. We didn't go, all right, how do you do it? What is the gravity thing? What's that? We start analyzing it. No, there's something in us that called us to emerge, and something in us knew we were able to walk, and it called us to walk. So if anybody's got a dream or a desire out there to be able to be more intuitive or more psychic, or see energy fields, or do energy work, or to talk to people on the other side, to do mediumship, or to talk to spirit guides, if your soul's guiding you to do that, that means it's already in you and it wants to emerge. Does that make sense? That it's not something on the outside that we have to learn how to control, manipulate, figure out, analyze. That's the old consciousness. You already are that, and it's coming to life. It's emerging. The genie's coming out of the bottle is what's happening.
Yeah, exactly. I love it. And what's so beautiful is, I've been working with clients for so many years, and regardless, even now, you see these phases that, like people do when they wake up, or that they remember as children. They had these abilities and they played with the fairies and all that stuff, like I did, you probably did, right? And then at some point it wasn't cute anymore, and you were told, stop it, grow up, imagination isn't real, and go be responsible and follow all these rules and everything. And what's the interesting thing about right now is that it's so widespread that it's no longer, well, people can deny it, but it's no longer easy to say, oh, it's just these few people over here, these weirdos over here, right? So everybody on this call, I'm sure, if you're here, like like Pam said, that you're starting or you've been playing in these energies. I have a client who last year in my light body school, she had two daughters. in their 20s at the same time have a massive Kundalini awakening. And one of them ended up in a mental hospital. And it was fascinating because she had just graduated and gotten her degree to work in that field. And her mother was working with me and all these energies and activating her light body and seeing and all this. But she wasn't. And so she went and was so expanded. And there were weeks before she ended up in the mental hospital where we were helping her to process it and to manage it. She could see energies and she could go up, and it was just amazing. However, because it's so misunderstood, she said, finally, just take me to the hospital. It's the only thing I understand. And this is happening a lot, especially to younger people waking up. What is it that you can say to help people trust, like you were saying? And because a lot of people's families don't understand it. A lot of people's religious upbringing say this is wrong. And a lot of people try to run from it for a while.
Well, the first thing is I want people to know, if you start having an awakening, one of the biggest fears is they're going to go crazy and end up in a mental institution. So I go, no, that's not common. That's not the normal thing that happens. Okay. You can do it as you get used to it. It's like when we learn how to first walk, we didn't go, hike up a big old mountain right off the bat. So the first thing I want to say is don't be afraid. Don't be afraid. See, people hear stories like that and they go, oh my gosh, I don't want to end up like that. I'll lose control. I don't want to do that. And then they close it down. So number one, take it at your own pace, and ask. You don't get jolted. You don't get blasted unless there's something in you that wants to do that. Now, when I went to hear the psychic speak and he pulled me out in front of the group that night, I wasn't forced to do that. He said, you've been asking to go to the next level and this is it. And I went, hey, how come you knew that? Okay. So I had been asking for it. And the thing is you don't have to go into fear. You can do it at your own pace, at your own ease. You can ask for help from the other side, from guides, from your own soul. Your soul knows what it's doing. So bottom line, what I like to say to people is trust that your soul knows what it's doing and relax. Usually people go into fear or start having issues if there's resistance, if there's fear, or if they don't really know what's happening, which is why we're doing things like this. This is real. This is what's happening. It's so cute. Can you imagine? Well, let's use this in that analogy. When whoever it is that first discovered the world was round, whether it was Columbus or whoever it was, can you imagine everybody believes the world's flat? And then someone comes back and goes, no, it's round. I've been there. It's round. First of all, people aren't going to believe it. Second of all, if they sort of believe it, but they're not sure, and they get on a ship to start going and they're afraid they're going to fall off, because it's like, oh, it's not really round. You got fear the whole journey. Don't do it if you're afraid. Or breathe, spend a lot of time in meditation, asking for guidance, asking for support. And the bottom line is there's nothing to be afraid of. Oh, I got to talk to some of the violets out there because violets don't like what I'm going to say next, right? Watch this, because you got violet too, Akasha. Okay, well then don't do it right now and wait till everybody else is doing it. Then you can be, at the tail end. Ooh, violets don't like hearing that because they like being the cutting edge. They like being in the first part of the wave. So I go, you don't have to do it. Just wait till everybody else does it and then you can wake up, okay? You understand violets don't like that. And yellows, which you also have in your aura, yellows are pleasers, but they're stubborn. So what I have to say to a yellow is, and I go, come on, you can do this. Just wake up, trust yourself, take it at your own pace, at your own time. And yellows, when they're afraid, they procrastinate. So typically this is how I get a yellow to move forward. See, all of you, because I can see some of you out there, you got some yellows in your auras, okay, out there. So this is what I say to a yellow. Notice how you feel when I say this. Okay, don't do it. Just keep doing your life the way you've been doing it. Just go be an ordinary muggle. It's really okay. You can do that. Oh, the yellow's like, I don't want to do that. If you tell a yellow what to do, they do the opposite. So,
wow, you nailed it. Yeah.
So it's just, so here's the bottom line. Go inside, connect, which is what all this is about right now, is getting us to go inside and connect with our souls, not busy out there following the muggle rules.
Yeah.
Out there busy. And then we're not happy. We don't get what's going on. We don't feel fulfilled. So it's like the universe went, okay, you guys need to be quiet. So we're going to help you get quiet and go inside and be on your own, be still, go inside, connect, ask your soul, ask your higher self, how do I do this? What's going to help me not be afraid? Or more than that, don't help me not be afraid. Help me just trust this. So that's one way to do it. Another thing to do is see that other people are doing it. So it's not so scary. I do workshops where in one of my workshops, I teach people even how to bend spoons. And the first time I did it, I was in a workshop and they taught us how to bend spoons. And we're sitting there going, bend, 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 bend. Nothing's happening. Nothing's happening. Nothing's happening. Pretty soon, a woman in the back of the room lets out a scream. We turn around and her spoon is bending. As soon as we saw hers doing it, our spoon started bending. So know that you're not alone. We're not crazy. All of this is happening. It's what's happening. It's where we're going with the consciousness. Is everybody going to wake up in this lifetime? No, people don't want to. Some people don't want to. If you're on this call, there's something in you that knows that you want more. You know you're being called to do more. And it may be that you're not going to do all of it. It may be that your particular gift that you wanted to do in this lifetime wants to emerge. Just focus on that for a while. You don't have to do it all. All right. So with those
I love that.
people that get blasted out, I can address that with people that think they get blasted out with the Kundalini awakening. First of all, you have more control than that. You don't have to do it. When I see people doing that, it's like there's some sort of suppression or resistance or block, and their soul went, I don't want to be blocked. And so they just open it up right away. So if that does happen to you, because on some level you want it, but you're resisting it, after it happens, go, okay, well, that was an adventure. All right, let me tone it down just a little bit. You have control, you have control. Our biggest fear out there with some people is that they're going to lose control.
Mm-hmm.
I go, so this isn't about the word control. I like to use the word create instead. Create it the way you want it to be.
Yeah.
You don't have to try and control because that reeks of resistance. Fear, I got to hold on to it. I got to control. Just know, start realizing who you are and allow yourself to create the experiences that you want. You don't have to outside manipulate and control. You get to create it the way you want. And you know what, Akasha, we've been raised to think that out there are bad things that can happen to us. It's out there, it's separate from us. When you learn that you're creating your own dream, when you learn that you're creating your own experience, you stop being afraid that outside things can get to you or something's out of your creative control. See, there's that word control, that you're not creating it all. Once you get that you're a creative being, you can start trusting yourself more. And here's the deal, then have fun with it. Then have fun with it. Violets tend to make everything very serious and intense, and yellows are a sense of humor. They're playful. They're big kids at heart. So are lavenders. There's lots of colors that are more playful and some colors that are very serious. Find that playful side and just to have fun with it. Then it won't scare you so much.
Yeah. It's so interesting you said that about control, because that is something, we've been so conditioned to, like, did you pay your bills on time? And, did you not get a traffic ticket? And, all of these little things that we're worried about so constantly. And when you start to free yourself from that and unplug, and one of my clients, we're doing some very deep work. And before we dove in yesterday, she said, oh, so you mean I'm going to have to let go of control? And I laughed and I said, well, it's kind of a 3D question, because once you expand, you're going to realize it doesn't make any sense. That question actually makes no sense, right?
That's it. And you said the right word, expand. Some people, when you say let go, it scares them, because like, if I let go, I'll die. If I let go, something bad will happen. If I let go, I'll fall off the cliff.
Fall apart. Yeah.
Exactly. So rather than say the words let go, a lot of times I just go, I expand beyond the control issue, expand beyond it, expand. So I love that you used that word.
Yeah.
You're bigger than that.
We are. So if you would like to ask a question, please put it in the chat window, and I'll start to share with Pam anything you have questions. It can be personal, it could be about what's happening right now, whatever it is that you want. I know that I've spent so much time, I've worked around the world in mystery schools and shamans and healing and so on, and my own death and this and that and loss and so on. And so when we get to go through these experiences, which we create, there's this shedding, I guess, of the old sense of who we are, and less attachment to those fear states, to those lower vibrations. And right now, though, is such an interesting time. The fear is getting higher, and that desire to expand is getting higher at the same time. So there's that pull. And as people expand, what kind of things can you share that you've found help when your family doesn't like that you're changing, or your husband doesn't like that you're changing, or your job doesn't like that you're changing?
Well, first of all, believe in yourself. Believe in what your soul's calling you to do. Okay. When I first started doing this, I was raised Christian. I graduated from a Christian college. All my friends were Christian, and some of them very strict, fanatic Christians, like born again, like you don't do this, right? When this experience started happening, I started expanding. And by the way, you guys, when you start expanding, life is so much more fun. It's so much more interesting. It's so much like, wow, it's like if you go to Disneyland and you only stay on one ride the whole time, one ride, or one land, and you're just doing that. And all of a sudden you realize that Disneyland's got Adventureland and Tomorrowland and Fantasyland, and like, wow, it just opens everything up. So when I first started doing this work, my friends stopped talking to me because they were, I mean, it was serious. You're doing the work of the devil. This is really bad. And I went, okay, I understand. I still loved them. It hurt to see them judge me like that, but I knew I had to do it. My soul was calling me forth. So they stopped talking to me for years. And now guess what? They're all coming to me for readings. Their kids are coming to me for readings. They're asking questions. Because it's all expanding. And what's interesting with some of these friends is when we used to have these dialogues and it was like, oh, bad, 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 bad. And I would explain what I was seeing and what I was experiencing. They're like, no, wrong. And they went that way. Now, when we have conversations, it's really funny because I go, no, we always believed what you're saying. We've always believed in that. And I go, wow, I expanded my whole universe. So bottom line, trust that when you're doing something good for your soul, and you're freeing yourself up, you're going to free up everybody around you. At some point, they're all going to stop being here. Now, remember, everybody's here for a different experience, a different adventure. So I allowed them to do whatever it is they're doing. Allow the scientists, even though I've spoken in front of scientists and physicists, I allow them to have their thing. The skeptics, the religious people, it's like, it's okay. You're here having a different experience than I am. It's really okay. I trust that my soul's calling me this way for a reason. And it's amazing because as I step into it, my world expands and all the people around here are more and more interested in it, and they're all coming around. So that's the parallel universe I'm in, okay?
Yeah.
That's the experience I'm having. So bottom line, trust, allow, listen to your soul, listen to its calling, because if you do that, everything's going to work out okay. And if you don't, you're going to, well, especially you violets. One of the things I say to, and now I see 14 different aura colors. So sorry, I keep picking on violets and yellows. Screen. Violets, if you guys get to the end of your life and you haven't done what you feel your soul is calling you to do, what you feel a desire for, you get to the end of your life, you're going to have regrets. You're going to go, I wonder what would have happened if I had done that. And you'll probably feel unfulfilled and trapped and like something's missing the whole time. Okay. So, and sometimes the worst thing to say to a violet, especially when people think linear, like they've got past life and then the next life and the next life and the next life. That's just our consciousness that we've been trained to think linear. But if you get to the end of your life and you haven't done what you came here to do, you will come back again and try it all over again. And maybe the circumstances are going to be even tougher. So you might as well go for it. Where are you going to go? You know, go for it. Wait, you know, don't get to the end of your life and feel like you just wasted it.
Oh.
Right? Does that?
Yes, it's so
if
resonant, I think, because that's what people are being called right now is I don't feel like I should live here or do it the way, especially the kids, right? My kids are 22. They have no interest in even owning a car, or one of them. They don't want to go do a job 9 to 5 and slave for something. They see past that already, but they don't see the new paradigm either. So it's that interesting
we're bringing the new paradigm in. So it's fine. I mean, we're creating new stuff now. We're creating something new, which is what you violets came here to do. Okay. So, so create the new, have fun with it, experiment, or don't, just stay stuck. It's really okay. You can live a regular little life and it's really okay. As long as you're happy, go for it.
Yeah.
Whatever you feel
Really
drawn to.
great.
Right.
And unplug from trying to make other people. I know when you start this, you get excited, you want to tell everybody. And then you get that feedback like, like you had with, those different things. So, well, okay, let's go to some questions. And I love this one because I would love to hear you talk on the idea of protection. It's always been one of those difficult things, the deeper I dove into, there's no right and wrong. And then you bring that back into 3D and you get all kinds of arguments and conversations around that, right? But the idea of protection, do we have to protect ourselves? I'm an energy girl. I believe in knowing how to manage your energy and clean it. But Linda says, why did our souls come at this crazy time? And how do we protect our minds from it?
Okay, so first of all, and by the way, I want to say something that you said, Akasha, when you go, you have all these experiences and then you bring it into the 3D world. Do you see what we're doing already? We're already making a separation. There's not a separation. This expanded world is infused in the 3D world. It's not separate. And that's the trick. It's like, I get this higher stuff and then I got to come back and deal with reality. It's like when we start seeing that we're creating reality, then there's not that conflict. Okay, now, protecting, I want to do the big thing that I always say with protecting. Once you really realize that there's nothing else, so that you're creating it all, like you're having the dream, you're creating all the energy. I have never felt a need for protection ever. And I've spoken in front of people and what I find is interesting, I go, oh man, I'm like my friends that started judging me. I realized that they were reflecting back to me a judgment I had of myself. It's like, oh, I feel guilty leaving my friends behind or that belief system behind. So I feel guilty. So they were attacking me for it. And as soon as I stopped doing that, everything changed. So it's a reflection. So here's the deal. I have never felt a need for protection because I don't believe there's a dark force or whatever. I just live my life and radiate because for me, I don't believe in it. Okay. Now, if people do believe that they have to protect themselves from the outside world or mean people or evil or dark forces, then yeah, surround yourself with white light. That's a good way to protect yourself until you get to the point where you go, oh, I am the sun. I am the white light. I'm creating this, so I don't need to, I'm creating it. And then I got to protect myself from what I just created. That's silly. I'm going through that right now too. I go, I'm creating all this. What would stress me out about it? So what I like to do is go, wow, what an adventure. Wow, what a ride. Wow, I'm learning something from that. Ooh, that's interesting. Do I like that adventure? Because remember, we're here to have adventures. We're here to like have emotions, have feelings. So again, what I'm hearing is, how do I keep myself from being afraid? This is the best way to keep yourself from being afraid or from quote unquote being attacked from the outside or having something bad or even your own mind. It's like, stop seeing it's a duality. Stop seeing that there's something other than what you're creating. And then it kind of becomes kind of humorous, or have the adventure of it. Like, oh, I just created somebody getting mad at me. Wow, I wonder if there's something inside me that's mad at me. Oh yeah, there is. Well, thank you very much for showing me. It's almost like the outside world is the magnifying glass or the megaphone or the exaggeration of what I'm feeling in here. Okay. Now, some people aren't going to get that, but I swear, whatever is going on in here, you're going to create it out here. It's a reflection. Okay. And then also if you've got conflict out there or in your own mind, it's because you got conflict in here. And if you focus and deal with that, it'll dissolve. And then also, whatever you focus on is going to increase. So if we focus on the problem and the fear, we're going to get more of that. If you focus on the solution, you're going to get more of that. Okay. I'm talking really high level here, Akasha. I'm not playing down in the sandbox.
Oh no, good. That's what we want to do. There's plenty of places playing in the sandbox. We want to play with the big things, and it's true. And as a hypnotherapist and many other different things, when someone says protecting my mind, the way I look at it is you feed yourself. You choose the food you put into your body. You choose the food you put into your mind. So if you're on Facebook, because Facebook, the owner of Facebook said, we want to make Facebook as addictive as cigarettes. That's literally their goal. So if you're in there, like, if you're watching TV, if you're watching the news, if you're listening to people, if you're talking to everybody else, you're feeding your mind everybody else's opinions. And it is an opinion, right? So yeah. When you say, how do I protect my mind from it? Choose what you eat. Right?
Or if something you just said too. So if your mind's doing and it's freaking out or getting scared or giving you a problem, go talk to it. Go, okay, I'm listening. You got my attention. What are you afraid of? What are you trying to say? What flags are coming up so we can dialogue about it? Let's talk about it and go reassure it. Go calm it down. Sometimes just ignoring it, it's just going to keep coming at you. So go look at it and go, okay, talk to me. What's the fear? Well, blah, 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 blah. It's like, okay, is that real? All right, what do we do about it? How do we solve it? Or is that real? Or are you just imagining this big thing that's going to happen? And the other thing I'm going to say is stop affirming that your mind is having problems. Stop affirming that you have conflicts. Stop affirming and become one and go, what's your ultimate vision? What's your ultimate intention? What's your ultimate goal? My goal is to get there. Okay, good. Be there. And any obstacles that come up along the way, you can either be water and flow around them. You can dissolve them. You can communicate with them. There's lots of ways, whatever works for you, but you can identify that they're there, or you can go, oh, that was kind of a made up thing. Or that's old. I get that. I was raised with that. Now be careful about getting attached to. I see a lot of people, we've all done it. We all do it. Well, I think like that because my parents were like this, or my brother was like this. And so now it's ingrained in me. And I go, oh my gosh, no, it's not. Only if you keep choosing to think that way. Yeah. You know, it's like you still have choice. You still have choice. You still have choice. Focus on what you choose and stop feeling like you're a victim of something that you grew up with. Because at any point you can go, okay, I'm over that. At any point you can drop it and create something new. But we don't believe that. We don't know that. We think that we have to pay for or suffer the consequences of something in this past or a past life, and whatever. It's like, nah, instant, present moment, present moment, present moment. So if you're holding on to something that scares you or the past, either get the juice out of it or let it, like you said, let it go. Okay, next. I like that. I go, okay, turn the page. Okay, next adventure.
Yeah.
Okay,
Next volume.
Next book.
Yeah.
That's what I do a lot. Even if there's been a hard day, I go, okay, I got the experience of that. Okay, next, right over there.
Yeah. I like to imagine, I like to work with the idea of, especially if it's family and it's just like, you know, pattern that you're ready to get over, is put it in a nice box, wrap it up as a gift and give it back to whoever you gave it to you. Be like, oh, thank you. I borrowed this. It was great. I learned a lot. There you go. Not mine anymore. Right?
Or if somebody pushes my buttons, I go, oh man, thanks for letting me know I still have a button in there. God, okay, I'm gonna focus on that. It's that old thing, if you're watching a movie and you don't like the movie, you don't go up to the screen and try and change what's going on the screen. You go to the projector and change the film that's going on inside it.
Yeah, perfect. Well, this is a little bit of a similar question, but Jean Marie said, what are the ways we can raise our vibration to help us expand?
Number one word that's coming up to say is meditate. Meditate, not to just get quiet and just go, okay, but meditate to really connect and remember and realize who you are and ask, go, help me remember, help me experience who I really am. Help me experience that I'm really this expansive light being who just knows things and that we're here for the fun. Help me experience it. So I feel like we can change the best if we can slow down and listen inside, as opposed to, again, trying to change it out here because it feels harder out here. It's like, be still, connect, listen, realize, and then play with it.
Yeah. And anybody on here, if you want our version of the scale of consciousness, we give it away for free. We've changed it and added it to it. But if you just look at that and you go, oh, look, I'm over here blaming people. You're way down there in guilt. It's the second lowest state you could be in. If you want to raise your vibration, you need to go let go of that. Get angry. That's way higher than guilt. And then move on up from there.
Yeah.
Right?
Plus, I also want to say this, Akasha, when people go, how do I change to, be more expansive? Let's come at it from this way. You already are that. You already are that. You've been pretending that you're not that so you could have little muggle experiences or little 3D experience, whatever you want to call it. But you don't have to learn to become it. You already are that. Basically, it's just about waking up to see that you are that. I like to talk to people like, it's almost like saying, Kasha, if you go, how do I become a female? Well, you already are that. You don't have to become something. You already are that. You just need to look at I am that. So that's the easiest way to do it. You don't have to work to become something. You already are that. Yeah. It's just realizing that.
And what I love about that is that we're programmed to look for lack. Everything's about there's not enough this and that and water and time and blah, 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 and resources. If we change our to look for what you're saying, hey, I already am this. Where is it? Let me look for it. Let me, show me the signs of that. And then they'll start to pop up.
Yeah.
Okay, Tammy says, if our souls reincarnate, how can we talk to a spirit that has passed over? And how do we know this soul hasn't been reincarnated?
Because we're multidimensional beings. Everybody's thinking just one reality. So we're multidimensional. So that being, if they crossed over, they're on the other side and probably manifesting, and they've already reincarnated multiple times in many different places, including here. So we're multidimensional beings. So you can talk to them on the other side, even if part of their soul has chosen another lifetime already, they're still there too. Do you see how we're so used to thinking one reality instead of that we're multidimensional beings in all places at all times? We're infinite beings. That's what that means. We're eternal. We're infinite. It's not just one body. We could never fit into just one body. Not our souls. Our souls are too huge. So our soul's having multiple experiences. You can talk to them anywhere at any time, including future people that you haven't even met yet in this realm.
Yeah, and isn't that fun? I find that especially this year in my sessions with clients, a lot of what's coming in are their other lives. Like them in other lives are coming in as guidance or connection, as conscious connections. Like, hey, we can do this together and things like that, which is really fun.
Absolutely. Anytime you have an insight, all your other incarnations are getting the same insight unless they don't want to. It's like, no, leave me alone. Don't tell me it's a movie. I want to be involved in this movie. So you're affecting all of it. It's connected. It's all connected.
Oh.
And I know a lot of people who have had near-death experiences, and they all say the same thing, that when they're on the other side, they see all their lives still happening. They're all happening simultaneously. And I talk to people who are on the other side. They tell me the same thing. It's like, when their loved ones go, are you going to incarnate before I get there? They go, what are you talking about? I'm already incarnated, but I'm also here. I'm always going to be here. We're always in the field, always.
Infinite. Oh, it's juicy. So NG says, what's a good first step when you feel and know I'm stuck, but can't get to or find the false belief holding you back?
Okay, again, I'm talking high level here, not playing in the sandbox, but I get the question. So the first thing is stop affirming you're stuck. Stop affirming you're stuck and going, oh, I've got the pause button on right now for a reason, because either I want to look at which way I'm going, or I don't feel like I deserve it, or I'm afraid to go to the next step. I'm not stuck. I'm choosing to put the pause button on right now to give myself some time. So you understand, the bottom line is stop affirming you're stuck. Right? Because then that makes, oh my gosh, I have no say over a victim. I'm a victim again. So it's like, I do know. And then the next thing is like, I do know. And I'm listening right now because my soul, my higher guides, source, whatever you want to say, is guiding me to the next thing right now. And if you feel stuck because you're afraid, okay, then go in and look at what you're afraid of. And be careful when you go, I can't get in touch with the fear that's blocking me. Again, don't affirm you can't. Don't ever say you can't, I don't know, any of that stuff, because you're just plugging it in more. Just go, oh, I know, and it's emerging very easily, and I'm going to get it, and I'm going to, oh, that silly belief, oh my gosh, I had that when I was 10 years old. I don't need that anymore. Do you see how it's basically self-talk?
Mm-hmm.
Talking in positive terms, not affirming, quote unquote, negative things.
Mm-hmm. Yes, well, and the conditioning that we've had, it's been very intense, and until the last probably 20 or 30 years, the time has been slower, energies are heavier, it's taken us more time to expand that awareness. But yeah. I find that right now, if you're waking up or you're asking these questions, the answer's right there. And it's usually right there inside of you, right?
Yeah, and most of the time we get stuck because we're afraid. We're afraid we're not going to be enough, or we don't know what to do, or what if I fail, or what if people don't like me, what if I fail, what if people don't like me, what if I make a fool of myself? So it's fear. So you can go in and go, okay, what am I afraid of? And support it. In other words, be loving to yourself. We're so hard on ourselves sometimes. We have high expectations of ourselves, which on the positive means that we know something about ourselves that's greater. Otherwise, we wouldn't have high expectations of ourselves. So if you get scared, because that's all stuck is, okay, and it's like, well, no, I don't know. And I go, yes, you do know, you do know, you do know. You're just afraid to know right now. Maybe you want the pause, you need the pause. It's okay to have the pause, but go in and support yourself and help yourself not feel afraid, just like you would a friend or a child or a pet. You know, help it not feel afraid. And then it's going to be like, oh, okay.
Yeah, yeah. I like that analogy of a scared dog, like a homeless dog, and how you can, once you get it home, it starts to trust, it starts to expand because of the loving environment. And if you do that with yourself, you give
Yeah,
yourself the environment that you can.
absolutely. That's exactly right on. Create a safe environment for yourself, inside and outside. What do you need to feel safe? And it's still in here. If you're expecting the outside world to help you feel safe, that's a projection. It's not going to cooperate. It's always going to try and scare you until you get awake, and then you go, oh, this is fun. We're all
Yeah.
doing this to have fun.
Yeah,
Correct.
exactly. Like, oh, well, yeah, no, I played that game, never mind. And I'm going to go over here and play my own game.
Done that movie. Yeah, a lot of people go to scary movies. They go to horror movies. They go to dramas. They go to war movies. Like, yeah, I don't want to do that one. That's not my kind of movie. So you don't need to scare yourself.
Yeah. Carol Swanson asked, are we born with one major aura color, or do our colors change through our lifetime?
Okay, cool. So here's the deal. First of all, I would never limit anybody and tell people they can't do it. In my experience of doing this for 36, 37 years, the one or two bands of color that are closest to the body. Now, I see auras as bands of color. Other people see it differently. It doesn't mean somebody's right and somebody else is wrong. It means we're having different experiences. What they describe about it still should match what you see about yourself. So I see lots of different bands. The one or two colors closest to your body, so people usually have one or two main colors. Those are the colors that reveal who you are in this lifetime, what the theme you've chosen, your life purpose, career directions that are going to be fulfilling, relationship compatibility, potential health issues, money. All of that is in those two things, just like astrology, numerology, iridology, palmistry. They don't limit you. They reflect back what you've chosen in case you get to this planet, this realm, and go, wait, what am I doing here? Oh, it's like we left clues behind. It's like, oh, yeah. Now I remember. It's to validate and help you get there. The outer bands in the aura change all the time, depending on what's going on with you at the time. So if I see somebody getting angry, a lot of red shows up. When I see people on vacation, a lot of yellow shows up because yellows want to have fun here. They're playful. They're big kids at heart. They want to have fun and help people heal, or animals or the earth heal, but they're playful. So when I see people on vacation, yellow shows up. When they're back to work, yellow's not there as much. So, and again, your life color reveals who you are. It doesn't run you. So I would never tell people, because I got yellow in my aura too, and we yellows don't like being told what to do. You can do anything you want. But my sense is, why would you change your life colors when it's what you came here to do in this lifetime? In other lifetimes, you're being a different color. Another lifetime, you're being a different color. So this is the ones you wanted to have this time.
Nice. And then I wanted to just ask, because I know you then created the idea of love colors to help people. Are those different bands, or is that based on those two primary ones?
My book, Life Colors, is about the person and what they're like, and money and career and health and all that bit. Love Colors is about compatibility with the aura colors. You're still the same aura colors, but it shows what your priorities are and your needs are in relationship. And it shows how you get along with each one of the other aura colors. Because some of the aura colors are really compatible and they're going to do great together, have an easier time. There's certain aura colors, whoa, they're going to have a real rough time being together, because like yellows are big kids, greens are the workaholics on the planet. It's all about money and power and control and intelligence and accomplishing, and they're workaholics. They're type A personality. You get a green together with that playful yellow that if they had their way wouldn't be working at all unless it was fun. Okay. Oh, so the reason I wrote Love Colors was to help people with their relationships, to validate who they are, but also to help us allow people to be who they are, instead of running around thinking everybody's supposed to think like we do. It's like, oh, you're a lavender. Oh, you're a crystal. You're a red. Okay, I get it. Yeah, I see what your priorities are and what you came to this planet to do this time. Have fun. Go for it.
Beautiful. Well, Tammy said what you just said about feeling safe a little bit ago and taking care of yourself was so beautiful, and she wanted to thank you. And Lynn also said that she feels like you in terms of what you said about protection, and thank you for sharing that. Let's see, we got a couple more here. Lynn says, I communicate with animals and have studied shamanic work and do help people who seek my help. Sometimes I feel afraid to tell someone what I do. Am I denying my true self and not doing my purpose? Will have to come to repeat this life purpose again. Will I have to?
First of all, you don't have to do anything. You know, if you get to the other side and you haven't done what you came here, you'll choose to do it again. Just like, oh man, I was going to do that and I didn't do it. So you don't have to. Nobody forces you to do anything. And I don't want to get into people's belief systems about if you don't evolve, you have to do it again. It's like, well, if they're all happening simultaneously, how do you do that? You evolve right here. So, afraid to tell people what you do. Okay, so you got a choice. First of all, my first thing to say is, if you free up, you're going to help everybody else free up. If you live your authentic self, that gives everybody else permission to live their authentic self. And if you're afraid, then don't tell people. But do you see how that didn't feel right? Well, then I won't tell people, right? It's like, well, you're limiting yourself. It's okay until you're ready not to do that. I use this analogy. It's usually a blue thing. Blues are the rescuers, the teachers, counselors, nurses. They want to help everyone. They want to rescue. You violets want to inspire, empower, and educate. You want to help people be empowered with their lives. Blues are, I'm a blue, yellow with violet, okay? Blues are very loving, very nurturing, but blues are the ones when they're out of power, can get down in the pit with everyone and go, I'll help you out. Get on my shoulders and I'll help you out. Well, most people are afraid to get out of the pit because they don't know what's up there. Are there monsters? Am I going to be alone? Will people throw rocks? Will they be jealous? I don't want to get out of there. They won't like me. So then everybody's down in the pit. The most loving thing you could do for people is get out of the pit first yourself. See what's up there. Show people, look, you guys, no monsters. Everything's okay up there. And then people in the pit go, what? You mean it's okay for me to live my dreams? It's okay for me to live what I came here to do? And then they get inspired to get out of the pit too. And then we're all happy and free and doing what we came here to do. Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely. I love it. I spent some time in Minnesota and I was driving in college, and what you learn when you live somewhere with snow is if there's a blizzard and you're driving down the road and you see somebody who went into the ditch, then you do not get out of your car and try to help them because you'll end up in the ditch too and you both might die. You go call someone, or nowadays you have a cell phone. And I use that analogy with clients for years because it's like if you get in the ditch with them, now you're both in the ditch. Who's up here with the perspective? Who's up here with the hand up? You know, that doesn't help. And yet that is something we've been conditioned to do, that it's nice. I know I've been told that I'm too happy. It's inappropriate for you to be happy right now. You should be depressed. You should be unhappy. You should be scared. You should be this. So yeah, it's a big, interesting thing, but way to go, Lynn. I did animal communication for years in shamanic work, and you're ready. You've got it. You're in touch, and you just need to let go of that fear. And yes, people are not all going to like it, especially the people who love you, but it's going to be okay.
And let them have their experience. Also, by the way, when people get concerned that people are going to judge them or not like them, now what you're doing is focusing on yourself. And if you want to get out of that, that's kind of like, it's a little narcissistic to do that, even if it's the downside of being, afraid to be who you are. If you focus on those that you're here to help, if you focus on the animals and all the good you're doing for the animals, now you're helping them. And if people have judgments, let them go live their life of judgment and be small-minded and whatever. Focus on who you're here to give to, who you're here to help, those poor animals. If you hide out, you're not helping the animals. So it's okay. Just focus on the animals then. Don't worry about the muggles. Don't worry about the people.
Yeah, I love it. When Pam and I were talking before we started, I said, well, all the muggles, and she cracked up and said that word's been coming through in your readings, right, from the other side. And I used to say the straights. Years ago, I used to say, oh, well, all the straights, just like the straight people meeting like people who aren't into this woo-woo stuff. And now it's just the muggle is too well known. And you can usually tell if you say muggle and someone reacts that they're on the same page, right? Well, Margan, hi, sweetie, said, I've been feeling so brain divided. So like the left side of my face is all negative and the right side struggling for positivity. How do I get the left side on board?
Oh, I love it. And do you see the reflection out there in the world right now? It's a reflection of what's going on. It's what we talked about earlier. The new that wants to emerge and the old that's like, no, 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 you can't do it. You can't do it. So let's see. First of all, how do you get them to, you know, to merge more? Well, have them make friends. Both sides need to win. If this side's like, this is what I want, this is what I want. Nope, 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 this is what I want. It's like, find a way that both of them can be happy. So this one, if it's resisting, it's probably afraid. No, you're going to get me into trouble. You're going to put me in the ditch. You're going to cost me my job, whatever it is. So it's afraid. So whichever side is being the more awake or whatever, talk to them, see what this one wants, see what this one wants, communicate, almost like a marriage within yourself. Or your other option is just let them keep battling and you're not going to get anywhere that way. So communication, listening is a big key, you guys. We are so information overload that it's hard to be still and listen. So if you listen to both sides, what do you want? What do you want? What are you afraid of? What's the answer? What are you afraid of? What's the answer? Okay. So listening is a big key to help you get unstuck and to help you not have battle inside. Awareness, and by the way, awareness is the biggest key right there. Okay. Being aware that you've got that conflict. So your choice is you either keep with that conflict or you choose to let it go, to shift, have an intention, even if it takes a while, sweetie, even if with the intention of, I don't want that side to hold me back anymore. I want to go this way. I want to go this way. So you choose it, you keep feeding it, you keep focusing on it until all of a sudden you look back and go, wow, I got it out of the ditch and I don't know how I did it, but I did get out of the ditch little bits at a time.
Yeah, and that's true. Margan has been working in our school, been to our retreats, and she's definitely aware, and that's I like affirming that. Well, let's see. Let's do one more. Lynn said, thank you. Munzer said, thank you so much. You're fantastic, Pam. And Kat said, hello from Rhode Island. Nice to see and hear you again. And Susan said, I so appreciate you and your perspective. I've been deepening my spiritual life since we spoke and many wonderful things are happening. Thank you. And Linda Muti says, hi, Pam, I just love you. Well, there's two here that are interesting. So this one, when you pass, I think pass on to another body, change states, do you have an aura?
Well, you get to do anything you want on the other side. It's funny when I talk to people who have crossed over, they show me the aura colors that the person that I'm talking with will recognize them. They have free will. They can do white light. They can have a different color. We create on this side of the veil. We also are creative beings on the other side, so we can do anything we want.
Interesting. Yeah, because it's not tied to your body, your physical body.
No, energy. It's just the opposite.
Energy. Yeah.
We're energy. We're making believe that we have bodies so that we can have the full experience here. But you know what quantum physics says? There's nothing solid to anything, not our bodies, not the chair, not the floor. It's all energy. So the energy is radiating out and creating a vibration and a color, just like sound does.
Yeah.
They're different frequencies. They just turn into a different color or a different sound or whatever. So yeah, no.
Yeah, I think that's why I asked that, because to clarify for people, I think people think it's emanating from your physical body, whereas it's the whole being of that.
Yeah.
So G says, I'm a violet blue, struggling to understand what my purpose is, particularly identifying whether I'm running towards a wall, I should be breaking down, or should I be turning a different direction? What is a good way for me to tune into what's right for me here?
Okay, good. So first of all, there's no walls. There's no wall. So you're not running towards a wall, but because there's no wall, so stop seeing a wall. With the blue violet specifically, I can say this. Each one of the aura colors has a life purpose in general, right? Blues are here to give love, to be in service, to help others, to experience love. And a blue's greatest life lesson is learning to be love, to accept love. By the way, the earth has a blue aura. Okay, so this whole plane is about love, okay, on this earth. So blues are about love, giving, being in service, coming from the heart, and they're also one of the most psychic and intuitive of all the aura colors. Blues, violets, and indigos are all very psychic and intuitive. So learning how to love yourself is a blues life lesson, learning to give love, to help others feel loved in whichever way you want. Typically, blues are teachers, counselors, and nurses, typically. Okay, but anything that's like that. Violets, sweetie, violets are here to shift the consciousness of the planet, to expand beyond the box, to improve the quality of life for people. Violets are teachers and therapists. They get involved in the media, they get involved in writing or the arts or television or online. It's media or arts, teaching or psychology, ministry, or they get involved in causes. Some violets get involved in politics and law, but blues don't usually like politics and law. So there'll be a conflict there. But basically, violets are here to teach by example, to inspire, educate, and empower, and to do big projects, sweetie. And that's part of the problem, because blues are homebodies and they want to be in love and be married, where violets know they got to reach the masses, and that can scare the other color. So violets teach by example. They need to get outside the box, and violets want to do projects. So without getting very detailed about that blue-violet conflict, because some of the colors in your own aura can have conflict, okay? So if you want to go deeper, sweetie, I give readings. Go onto my website. You can book a reading right there, only because I don't have time to do it right here. But I can tell you the biggest thing was what I've already said before. Learn to just listen. Learn to listen. And don't affirm. If you go in there and go, I can't hear anything, I can't. Don't affirm you can't until you realize that you can. Just affirm, I can, and it's arising right now, and it's safe for me to hear it. It's safe for me to hear it. I'm supported. I'm loved by the universe, by my soul, by all that is, whatever. It's safe to hear. So you understand how important, especially for violets, affirmations are, because violets' words are very powerful. Mm-hmm. So listen, trust, allow it to merge, even if it comes in stages, you guys. You don't have to be perfect. Well, you're already perfect. To be perfect. You already are. You came here for experiences. Just learn to listen and allow, and don't be so hard on yourself. Relax. Relax. Remember, I told you about very serious and intense.
Yeah.
And very emotional and deep too. So those are two deep colors. And we have to watch, because violets, when they're not living their purpose here, they can get depressed. Okay. Yeah. And because violets get accused of being unrealistic dreamers. Violets come from the third eye. They see things so far ahead of everybody else that you guys think it's common sense. Why can't people see this? Because people aren't visionaries like the violet. They don't get that, especially not tans and different colors. Violets get accused because they got big things to do here. They want to do their own projects. They don't like working for other people. They want to do their own projects. And so the consciousness here is, you can't do that. You got to think small. You got to be an employee. So learn to listen and trust. That's why I wrote my books. That's why I teach these courses, to help people validate who they are and give themselves permission to be who they are. And then I've got lots of tools in there on what you need to do. But number one for a violet is meditation. And I don't mean they have to sit in a corner and it's being still so you can listen to your soul and listen to your visions and listen to higher consciousness. And then you'll get guidance. You just got to learn to, over time, trust it. Yeah, and then just start moving in that direction. Even if you don't know how you're going to get there, move in that direction. At least you'll feel freer. Because violets need to feel free.
Oh boy, you just nailed me, like, wow. Like, I haven't worked for anybody since I was in college else. Like, that everything is expanded, and why can't you see it? And I can see the potential in people, and they can't see it themselves, and wow. So well, yeah, there were
one more thing for violets really quickly, because I can see some violets here too. Ultimately, you guys, violets want money, but they want money for freedom. Yes. Blues and yellows don't care about money. Violets want money for freedom. Violets cannot work just for the money. They have to believe in it. There has to be a higher purpose to it, and they have to enjoy it. And until you find something where you can do, and be around other violets, and connect with other violets that are doing it, so you feel like that's real, so you don't feel like it's an unrealistic dream. We need violets right now. We're in a violet age right now. We're shifting into the indigo age as we speak. But violets are getting wake-up calls and squeezed, and this little inner voice that goes, I'm supposed to be doing something. If you listen to that, sweetie, it'll guide you. And if you don't, you'll get a wake-up call, and you'll get squeezed, and people are losing their jobs, and they're getting sick, and they're getting burned out from their houses or whatever. Those are wake-up calls for violets to pay attention. Don't be scared. Just listen. Otherwise, the wake-up calls get bigger, sweetie, and we've got some really big wake-up calls out there.
Oh yeah, yeah. Well, I've had a few this summer. I died and had all kinds of other goodies happening. So, well, so yeah, there were several questions about how do I figure out my aura colors? How do I learn more about it? So you go to auracolors.com.
Mhm.
And that's Pam's website. She's got books, you've got workshops, right?
And there's
You
a
do
free
private
quiz.
sessions.
Yeah, and there's a free quiz on there. There's a
And
free
free
quiz to
quiz.
help you identify your aura colors. Just be very real with yourselves, you guys. Don't answer what you think you're supposed to be or what your family or parents or society taught you to be. Really go inside and answer the truth about yourself. And then I've got all kinds of free videos on there, and I've got courses, and but I've got the whole, and you can book a reading with me and I'll help you with it too, okay?
Yeah, perfect, perfect. Oh, this has been wonderful. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
What I could just talk to you all day long because this is just way too fun. And I want to just remind everybody, I mean, you're here, you found this community. Many of you sound like you already know Pam. And that's one of the reasons I'm doing this is I was very sick earlier in the year and my guidance kept saying, do a summit. And I had done a summit in years. And I'm like, do you know how much work that is? And the reason was this connection to create this community, to bring all these resources to you, to see who you resonate with, you know, because like Pam was talking about the auras, even if you don't know someone's aura, you're going to know who you resonate with. Who is your teacher? Who is your guide? Who is your friend? Who is the person who's speaking your language right now? And so, you know, check out all of the speakers here, check out Pam on her website and do yourself a favor. This isn't something to put someday. This is on our plate right now in front of us. It's no longer like, well, once I'm done with this and once my kids grow up and once I've achieved this and once I've made enough money, then I will do this. Because I remember that decades ago, I was going to a channel and trying to figure all this spiritual stuff out. And everybody was going, I do this and then I go to my work and I be that person that come home and I spend an hour being spiritual. And I couldn't stand that idea. I was like, it's supposed to be like this. It's supposed to be like this. So Pam, what can you share with us to wrap up this amazing experience for us?
It's emerging within. It's not even a separate. You guys stop thinking it's them against us or one side against the other side of you. What's happening is you're emerging. The real you is emerging. So you don't have to leave your body. You don't have to leave anything. The real you is waking up and emerging so you can see it. So you're all awesome. Here's the deal, you guys. Just have fun. See, I'm talking like a yellow. Yellows are here to have fun, but we just need to lighten up a little bit. It really is happening right now, and it's very convincing out there what's going on. It's very dramatic. Well, how else were we supposed to get our attention? And it's got to be really shaking and waking up. And it's like, come on, wake up. So there's lots of ways to wake up. We can do it through an alarm clock, which is not that much fun. We can, have to use the restroom so our bodies will wake us up, right? Or we can it's time to wake up, right? And so all it means is, just pay attention, listen. You're already awesome. You came here for the adventure, you guys. And if you don't accomplish something big, it's okay. You came here for the feelings, the adventure, to see other people, to learn something, to whatever it is you want to do. Same reason you go to the movies. You're here to have experiences. So every time you have an experience, go, oh, that was interesting. And then, now what else do I want to experience? Now what else do I want to experience? If you hold on to some struggle, you're going to stay stuck in it. So just go, okay, I got that. Now what else? So here's the bottom line. You're awesome. It's fun playing with you in this lifetime. You chose to come here at this lifetime and at this time in life because you knew that it was going to be kick-ass and some amazing stuff was going to be happening. And on some level, you're an incredibly adventurous soul because this was not the easiest time to come here, but it's the most adventurous. There's some big stuff happening. So I trust your soul knows what it's doing. You wanted to come here for the party. You want to come here for this big shift and see like the wow of it. So bottom line, you're an adventurous soul to have chosen to come here right now. So have fun with it.
Oh, beautiful. Absolutely. I mean, think about it. There's more people on the planet now than ever before. It's like everybody's like, oh, I'm coming. I know that I wanted to be here right now. I know I've been waiting for something to happen. We don't know how it's going to happen, but like all of the different things that Pam has shared, don't judge what's happening. Your way that you used to work, the way your kids went to school, the way that we shop, the way that we do things for a while, it's all going to change. It might be uncomfortable, can be a little nerve wracking at times. But if you relax and say, hey, I came here for a reason, I'm fully equipped, right? Everything I need is already right here. I can trust and relax into it. Beautiful.
When
Thank
the,
you so
when
much.
the caterpillar is ready to turn into the butterfly, it actually falls apart. It goes inside. Notice it goes inside and it changes, it morphs, it falls apart. And then the new one emerges. And that's what's happening. The old's falling apart so the new can emerge. So you can be part of the new that's emerging and just teach by example.
Exactly. I have so loved the butterfly. It's so cliche, but when I really studied it, like we talk about, I don't recognize myself. Who would I be if I don't do that job, or if I'm not married to this person, or if I don't live here? Well, that's what the caterpillar does. It loses form and shape. It melts into nothing. But then there's this inner knowing. And then also when it's ready, it's too tight in that cocoon, right? It's ready to get out, but it has to actually choose and fight its way out, like force its way out. If it's helped, it dies.
Mm-hmm.
And when I studied that, that blew my mind.
Yeah, and the caterpillar doesn't want to stay a caterpillar. The butterfly's already in it. It's already inside, just like us. It's already inside, and there's something. The butterfly's calling us. Our souls are calling us to emerge. We don't want to stay caterpillars running around on the ground, crawling on the ground. Blah, 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 blah. It's like, come on, there's got to be more to life than this. So we're becoming the butterfly.
Yeah. Yeah. And if you have a little struggle or pain or fear when your life is changing or as the world is changing, remember that that butterfly does that. It has to like go, no, I'm ready for something new. And then it frees itself and gets to fly and show your beauty. Be who you came to be. Show all those colors, those aura colors. Wonderful. Well, thank you, everyone. Tanya says, thank you, Akasha and Pam, for this amazing hour. And Lynn said, Pam, you're amazing. Thank you. And Melissa said, thank you to both of you. And Lynn said, thank you. And Kat said, thanks for hosting this. You are so welcome. Emery, thank you so much, ladies. It was wonderful and time well spent. So I would love to give you a big hug, Pam. I would just love, I was just reach out, give you a big hug.
I want to thank everyone for spending the time doing this too. I know that there's things out there to do, so thank you. Thanks for wanting this information. Thanks for joining in. Thanks for being part of this emergence. So thank you everyone for taking the time to come play.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm going to send everybody a big hug. So much love. And please take this out, share this with people. Go check out Pam. I'm going to share again, see if we can get this up here so you know where to go. Now, if you're already on the list, you got our emails about coming today, great. Then you are already gone to nanakasha.com/blisslifeglobalhealing. And that's where you're going to get your abundance meditation from the amazing Pam. And this and all of the other free gifts from the other people, the other speakers, and all of our videos and everything are there. You can also go to my YouTube channel. Everything is free. We don't charge for any of these. They're evergreen. They'll be there forever. So thank you, everyone. And have a beautiful and blessed day. Go out and do these things we've been talking about. Don't take it so seriously. Play a little bit. Look, instead of for the problem, look for who you already are. Look for what you're looking for inside and let it appear to you. You know you already have this ability. You can expand your consciousness. You are waking up. You chose to be here. I truly believe that your soul chose to be here at this time. It was not an accident. And regardless of, whether you're like my parents and you're in your 90s or you're brand new or somewhere in between, this is an amazing time. And there's something about your inner desires as a soul level, on an expanded level, that thought this is going to be an adventure. Like Pam said, it's going to be a kick-ass adventure. So go out, have an adventure today. And thank you so much for sharing yourself and your energies here with us, because you being here added to this energy, this conversation. And I truly appreciate you. Namaste. Have a beautiful and blessed day, everybody. Bye-bye.
Bye.